In this story, we see that a very dangerous virus has taken over the world, turning all of humanity into living corpses. But these aren't just any ordinary zombies. They're so fast they can even chase down a moving airplane. Some are so clever, they think with more cunning than humans, and some are so cunning they can sniff out their prey from miles away. Amidst this pandemic, only 2 humans are left alive. Will these 2 be able to survive in this dangerous world? We will find the answer to this question in today's story. The story begins with a boy sitting in his room, engrossed in watching cartoons on TV. But suddenly, an emergency broadcast appears on the TV screen, and his smile vanishes instantly. The report states that a deadly virus has spread across the entire world, turning humans into ferocious zombies in a matter of minutes. The TV warns everyone watching or listening to find a safe place immediately. Just then, the boy hears some strange noises from upstairs. Frightened, he goes up, but discovers it was just a prank by his older sister. The 2 siblings then go to their mother's room, who is terribly panicked. She is on a call with her husband, who is a pilot, and is explaining the severity of the situation to him. In the video call, her husband tells his kids that the situation is very bad and they should not wait for him at home, but should leave the city as soon as possible. He shows them a bracelet on his wrist that his daughter Abigail had made for him. Seeing this, Abigail's eyes light up. The mother quickly starts packing, but then they hear chaos from outside. She takes the children out, and as they reach the car, a zombie lunges at them. Terrified, Abigail hides under the car, watching her. Mother and younger brother fall prey to the zombies right before her eyes. The zombies don't see Abigail and leave, but a little later, Abigail sees that her mother has become a zombie and is heading towards her. Suddenly, a stranger arrives and saves Abigail by killing her mother. Right after, they realize that Abigail's younger brother has also been infected. The man tells Abigail to cover her eyes and ears, and he shoots her brother so that he doesn't become a zombie either. 10 years later, the world is completely ruined. The cities that were once full of people are now deserted. In this new world, only that little girl has survived, Abigail, who is now grown up. Since that day, she has been living with the same man, Jack, who saved her life. Jack not only protected her, but also trained her to fight zombies. Abigail now considers him a father. However, after living alone in the wilderness for so many years, Abigail feels very lonely inside. She wants to find a human settlement where she can live a normal life with people again. But Jack's experience tells him that where there are crowds of people, there are more dangers. One night, as they are sleeping in a tent in the forest, Jack hears some strange noises. He goes outside, and a zombie attacks him. Jack immediately shoots it dead. Abigail also runs out to help him. Both of them understand that there must be other zombies nearby, so they immediately prepare to flee and ride away on their horse. The way, their horse suddenly becomes restless. Jack understands that danger is close. They see an overturned jeep in the distance where a man is fighting off a zombie. Jack tells Abigail that this is a chance to test her aim. He says, "Save him, but aim carefully." Abigail fires in a hurry, hitting not only the zombie, but also the man. Jack angrily tells her that rushing is not a good idea. They go to the man, but his condition is critical. Jack kills him before he can turn into a zombie. They take the necessary supplies from the man's jeep. Jack puts on his boots, but then some people arrive who are the dead man's companions. They surround Jack and Abigail and accuse them of killing him and stealing his things. Then a pregnant woman arrives and calms everyone down. Just then, loud noises come from the forest. A large horde of zombies is heading towards them. Chaos erupts everywhere. Bullets are fired, but the number of zombies is too great. Many people are killed. Only 4 people survive: Jack, Abigail, the pregnant lady, and her husband David. The 4 of them escape in a car. On the way, Jack asks, "Who are you guys, and where were you going?" The pregnant lady says they were heading to a safe place called Shiptown, where humans are still alive and living a secure life in a colony. Abigail gets very excited hearing this, but Jack says there is no such place. "I have been roaming around for 10 years. If a place like that existed, I would have known about it." Suddenly, their car breaks down on the road. David, who is a mechanic, tries to fix it, but without the right tools, they leave the car and start their journey on foot. After walking for several miles, they reach a deserted residential area where there are tall buildings but no people. They first check out the place and then decide to stay there for the night. At night, they light a fire and cook food. Abigail asks the pregnant woman about Shiptown, and the woman says they have already made contact with it by radio. It is a fantastic place. Jack sets up traps for security outside and tells everyone that the next day he will accompany Megan and David for a while and then part ways. But Abigail disagrees. She says they should stick together. Jack says, "Where? There's a crowd. There's more danger." The next day, while Abigail is sitting on a rooftop, she hears zombie noises and goes to alert the others. At that moment, a zombie chases her, but she manages to save herself somehow. Jack arrives in time and saves her from falling. The black-faced zombie has also gotten closer to them, but several zombies are killed in the trap they set up. After escaping, Abigail remembers that there is a nearby airport where her father used to work. Maybe they can find an airplane there. Jack initially refuses, but eventually agrees. On reaching the airport, they find no planes. Jack says, "I told you so." But when they open a locked garage, they find a small plane. plane. David says, "It needs some repairs to fly. I can fix it in 10-15 minutes." David was busy repairing the airplane while Jack and Abigail were looking for useful supplies at the airport. Suddenly, David looked through his binoculars and saw a large group of zombies approaching them. They were getting close to the airplane fast. He ran to Jack and Abigail to warn them, "We need to get the plane started, or the zombies will get here and kill us." Abigail quickly got into the pilot's seat and started reading the book she found. Her father was a pilot, so she had some knowledge about flying an airplane. Jack, meanwhile, started shooting at the zombies to slow them down. Abigail managed to start the plane, but it was almost too late. Many zombies had already reached the runway. They were moving incredibly fast, and one of them even reached the plane's door, but Jack shot it, saving the plane. Abigail finally figured out the controls, and they successfully took off. Everyone in the plane was happy, thinking they would soon reach Shiptown, but their joy was short-lived. A few moments later, smoke started coming from the engine because the plane hadn't been in use for 10 years. The engine exploded, and the plane began to fall. Jack, thinking quickly, crash-landed the plane into a tree, which saved their lives. Though they were a bit bruised, the plane was now useless, so they had to continue their journey on foot. After walking for a long time, they reached a deserted railway station. It was night. They checked the surroundings for any danger, and when they found no zombies, they decided to spend the night there. They looked at a map and realized they were only 2 days away from Shiptown. Here, Megan, the pregnant woman, approached Jack and thanked him. She said, "We would have never made it this far without you." Hearing this, Jack felt a sense of sympathy for Megan. He told her his story. 10 years ago, when the zombie virus began, he had to kill his own wife because she was turning into a zombie and coming after him. He told her that ever since, he's felt like the human part of him has died. The only person he has left in this world is Abigail, and he will keep her alive at any cost. Jack also told Megan that he had changed his mind and would get her to Shiptown first. Megan was very happy to hear this. Meanwhile, we see Megan's husband, David, holding a gun to his head, trying to kill himself. A zombie had bitten his leg, but he hadn't turned yet because the wound was very small, so the transformation was slow. He decided he would get his wife to Shiptown and then leave her. The next morning, the four of them continued their journey. Along the way, Jack noticed that David was acting strangely. Jack realized he was infected. He pulled David away to a secluded spot where Megan and Abigail couldn't see them. Jack lifted David's pant leg and saw the zombie bite mark. Jack now knew for sure that David would soon become a zombie. Jack asked him, "Do you want to die by your own hand, or should I do it?" David said, "I won't hurt anyone, and if it comes to it, I'll kill myself." So Jack let him go. As night fell, they saw a house in the distance. Jack cautiously moved forward with his gun raised. Suddenly, a bright light flashed, and a voice from a speaker said, "Drop your weapons, or you'll be riddled with bullets." They realized there was a person inside. Abigail stepped forward and said, "We're not here to cause any trouble. We just need help." The owner of the house came out and said, "You can have plenty of food and a place to stay for the night, but on one condition, you have to leave your guns outside." They left their weapons outside, and the man led them into the house. He welcomed them, introducing himself as a scientist. "I live here alone," he explained. "I could have left, but it's easier to do my research in a place like this." He gave them a feast, and they were shocked because they hadn't eaten such good food in a long time. They devoured the meal. After eating, the scientist brought them drinks. Everyone was happy, enjoying the chance to relax and talk after so long. But the scientist's words started to sound strange. He said, "This virus is a terrible thing, but in a way, it's a form of human upgrade. The weak will die, and the strong will survive as zombies." He continued, "Zombies only live to eat, not for progress. They should rule the world." This made all four of them uncomfortable. Suddenly, David felt his condition getting worse and went to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw that the virus had spread throughout his body. When David returned to the living room, he saw that Jack and the others were unconscious. The scientist had drugged their drinks. David attacked the scientist, who pressed a button on a device in his hand. David immediately felt very weak and fell to the floor. The scientist explained, "I spent years building this device. It allows me to go anywhere in the world, and with this, zombies can't touch me." The scientist had created a device that let him control the zombies, meaning he could now be the king of the world and make everyone dance to his tune. David then passed out. When David woke up, he and his companions were tied up, and the scientist was about to experiment on them. After tying them up, the scientist said, "Would you like to meet my wife?" Then we saw the scientist's wife, who was a zombie kept in a cage. He would feed her the humans he captured. The scientist had also made the control device by experimenting on his wife. When the scientist opened the cage door, his wife attacked him first, but the scientist used his device to control her and sent her toward the four of them. She attacked Jack, but he kicked her away. Then David, using the strength from the virus, broke his ropes and freed the others. Sensing danger, the scientist immediately ran away. The four of them quickly grabbed their things and went outside. Luckily, they found the scientist's car and drove off toward the forest, but the scientist wasn't giving up. He used his device to control a horde of zombies and sent them after the car. Jack sped up and left left the zombies far behind, but the road was blocked. They had no choice but to continue on foot. After walking a little further, the zombies caught up to them again. David knew he was running out of time and would soon turn into a zombie. He told the others to go on without him and decided to stay behind to hold off the zombies. But his wife didn't want him to leave. David told her, "You have to live for our child, and I'm doing this for our baby." David fought the zombies bravely, holding them off long enough for his companions to get far away. But a zombie eventually got to him and killed him. Jack carried Megan and kept going, and they finally reached a human settlement. Abigail started screaming for help because a huge horde of zombies was right behind them. 2 guards in a tower saw them and started shooting the zombies with their sniper rifles to give them cover. Soon, a boat was sent for them, and the 3 of them got inside, reaching Shiptown safely. The black-faced zombie stopped his horde from going any further as they couldn't cross the water. Meanwhile, Megan was about to give birth and needed immediate medical attention. Luckily, there were doctors and a hospital there. The next morning, we see that the settlement was a town made of several large ships connected together, surrounded by water. Jack told Abigail they should leave, but she decided she wanted to stay. She loved being around so many people. They had a big argument about it. Just then, a doctor came and said that Megan had given birth to a daughter, but due to severe blood loss, she wouldn't survive much longer. Jack's heart sank. He rushed to the hospital room. Megan was very weak, and she wanted Jack to take care of her baby girl. She hoped her daughter would grow up to be like Abigail. Jack remembered his late wife and agreed to raise Megan's daughter. Meanwhile, Abigail was having a great time with a handsome boy. She had never imagined that so many people could sit together, drink, and dance to beautiful music. Her desire to stay grew even stronger. A little later, Abigail saw the handsome boy sneak into a cabin and followed him. Inside, she found the cabin was full of wires and bombs. A wireless switch was hanging there. As soon as she touched it, the boy rushed in and explained that they had planted bombs under Shiptown. If the place was ever in danger, people would escape through a tunnel and the town would be blown up from the outside. But they had no idea that day would come so soon. The crazy scientist, filled with rage, had also reached the area. He saw that they had killed a lot of zombies he had planned to use to rule the world. He used his control device to take command of the black-faced zombie leader. With the scientist's help, the water surrounding Shiptown was no longer a safe barrier. Many zombies came up from underwater and launched a surprise attack on the ships. Many people were killed and chaos broke out. Jack heard about the zombie attack and started to worry about Abigail. He fought his way through the zombies to find her. He finally found her, but the crazy scientist also reached the ship and punched Abigail, knocking her down. Enraged, Jack charged at the scientist, but a zombie pushed him into a nearby tank. The scientist followed, wanting revenge. He kicked Jack to the ground, but Jack knew fighting was useless. He lunged at the scientist, grabbed his arm, and slammed the control device against a wall, breaking it. With the power to control the zombies gone, the old scientist was quickly killed by a zombie. Luckily, there was already an escape route planned. Many of the survivors escaped through a tunnel to the other side of the river. When they were about to detonate the bomb, the handsome boy stopped. He couldn't push the button because Abigail was still on the ship. Jack and Abigail started running for their lives, but the zombie king caught Abigail from behind. Jack quickly hit the zombie on the head with a wooden plank, making him stumble back. Abigail's eyes fell on a bracelet on the zombie king's wrist. It was the same one she had made for her father as a child. She realized the zombie was her father, no longer a human. Jack grabbed her hand and tried to pull her away. The handsome boy, seeing them running, immediately pressed the wireless remote's button, and the entire Shiptown was turned to ashes. However, the fight was not over. The leader of the camp came holding his neck, having been bitten by a zombie in the fight. Before the virus could spread, the black-faced zombie, who had also survived the explosion, attacked him. Jack rushed to fight the zombie king, but he was no match for him. So Abigail picked up a gun from the ground. She knew the zombie was her father, but he was trying to kill Jack, the man who had raised her. Without a second thought, Abigail shot the black-faced zombie king, because if she hadn't, he would have killed everyone there. Afterward, Jack and Abigail embraced. Jack, Abigail, and the remaining survivors looked out at a remote island in the distance, deciding to build a new human settlement there. The story ends there. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel and like the video.